that I think the most that people are really focusing in on with Justin Fields that is not true. It's just not. It's an inaccurate statement. It's a dumb statement to make. It's a poor use of your platform, and it's trying to box Justin Fields into something that he's never been. Everybody's going on all these national, and I still got smoke for the national media, as y'all can see, right? Everybody's going on these national platforms, and they're saying Justin Fields is finally getting the opportunity to do what he's comfortable doing. Justin Fields is finally getting the opportunity to be a running quarterback. Justin Fields is finally getting the opportunity to use his athleticism, use his legs. Where are y'all getting that from? Where did y'all, what happened? Is it just because he's a black quarterback and black quarterbacks around the league tend to want to use their legs more? Is that the narrative? And listen, it's not like it's just like, I'm not bringing the whole race thing into it. It's black folks that's saying this. It's black folks that are boxing them into this, right? This has nothing to do with race. It's just like you're trying to stereotype him with the quarterbacks that are in his similar, right? Like that are similar to him in build and what they do. And because Justin Fields is using his legs, we're not talking about him using his legs because his offensive line is breaking down. We're not talking about him using his legs out of necessity. We're not talking about him using his legs because there's a lack of weapons around him. No, we're saying that now he's comfortable using his legs. He's comfortable because he gets to run the football again. Well, let me tell y'all why that's a false narrative. And again, why the national nerds, even though their opinion on the Chicago Bears has changed, are again wrong. Let me give y'all Justin Fields' college numbers. Actually, you know what? No, I'm going to start with everybody else. Here's some of your quarterbacks that you might think of as a running quarterback, a run-first quarterback. Lamar Jackson, of course, right? We know what he is. Lamar Jackson, just in college, not even talking about the NFL, just in college, because here's the thing. This is a narrative that's coming into the NFL. Here's the thing. Just in college, year one, 960 rushing yards, average 5.9, 11 touchdowns running the football. Year two, 260 attempts, 1,571 rushing yards, 21 touchdowns. Year three, 232 attempts, 1,600 rushing yards, 6.9 yards per carry, 18 touchdowns. That's a rushing quarterback. Here's one that you might not even think of as a rushing quarterback coming into the NFL, right? Deshaun Watson. I know he's a hot button topic, but listen, don't think of him as a rushing quarterback. Maybe you think of him as more of a passing guy, but at the end of the day, right, he uses his legs very well. 207 rush attempts his second year, 1,100 yards. 165 his third year in college, 629 yards. He had 12 rushing touchdowns. He had 9 the second year. Here's another guy that we could compare Justin Fields to, right? And somebody that a lot of people are comparing Justin to this year. Jalen Hurts in college, year 2, rushing the football, 154 attempts, 855 yards, 5.6 yards per carry, 8 touchdowns. Year 3, rushed it much less, right? 36 rushing attempts, 167 yards, 4.6. But I think something happened at 30. Didn't he get hurt or he got benched at 30 in college, Jalen Hurts? And then year 4, right? He goes to Oklahoma. 233 rushing attempts, 1,298 rushing yards, 20 touchdowns. Hey, that's a running quarterback. You want to know what Justin Fields did in college? Because he's such a runner. Right, this is the national narrative now. The Bears are finally allowing him to use what he does best. This is what he has to do. This is why he needs to run, because this is what we know him for. Is it? In college. First year at Georgia, didn't get that much run. Freshman year, 42 attempts, 266 yards, 4 touchdowns. Probably used them mostly for running there, right? Year 2, 137 attempts, 484 yards. He did have 10 rushing touchdowns, but a lot of goal line stuff. Final year at Ohio State, 81 rushing attempts, 383 yards. So where's this narrative coming from? Understanding what's actually happening versus what your narrative is that you're building. Justin Fields came into the NFL as a quarterback known for throwing the football. Justin Fields came into the NFL in a year where he only played 8 games with 2,100 passing yards and 22 touchdowns. You want to know what he did the year before that? 3,273 passing yards, 41 passing touchdowns. I don't know how to tell y'all this, but once again, your national narrative is wrong. And I saw Shady McCoy come out and talking about Justin Fields, right? And how, oh, he's a heck of an athlete, but I need to see him throwing the football. Again, not understanding what's happening in Chicago. Not to say he doesn't understand the game of football, right? Shady knows more about football than I'll ever know, 100%. But what's happening in Chicago is that the Chicago Bears can't protect Justin Fields. You want to know how many designed runs there really are? How many designed runs? I'm talking about like set hut, we fake something and Justin takes off. You're talking about 3 or 4 maybe a week. These aren't designed runs. These are Justin Fields using his athleticism to extend a play. Again, another feather in Justin's cap, understanding the moment, understanding what's happening on the field, and that, hey, guess what? He's not going to be able to make these moves. He's not going to be able to make this catch. He's not going to be able to bring this in. There's somebody that's on him. There's somebody that's right behind him. He's got a DB covering him pretty well. I've got to take off of my legs because you know what? My left tackle is a rookie, and he's not doing that great a job right now holding up against Bradley Chubb, so maybe I got to get the heck out of here. That's an understanding of what's happening. Justin Fields is not a running quarterback. Justin Fields is running out of necessity. There's a difference between a rushing quarterback and a quarterback that can run. And yes, right now, Justin Fields does not look great in the passing game, although very accurate, right? Just not getting a ton of passing attempts. You know why? Because the Chicago Bears offensive line and pass pro is one of the worst in the NFL. So why the heck would we put our young quarterback out there who looks like, by the way, when he does pass the football, he's very accurate. He's able to drop the ball in very tight windows. He's able to drop deep shots in very tight windows. He's able to beat Pro Bowl DBs on a consistent basis in very tight windows. Why are we having a conversation about him being a rushing quarterback? That is my question. The national nerds have changed their narrative, but the narrative's still wrong. And I'm okay. Here's the thing. I'm fine with you not fully understanding what's happening in Chicago, right? We're bad. Why would you? I don't expect you to. I really don't. There's a lot of things, right? Like even when Colin Cowherd's talking about Armstrong, right? Yes, it's funny. It's a hilarious clip. Ha 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 he he. You don't know who's on the Chicago Bears and yet you're talking about them, right? But they have to cover a lot of teams. I understand why they're not focusing on the Chicago Bears. You know why? Because if I had to cover all of these teams and it wasn't my team, I wouldn't be focused on the Chicago Bears either. I would be focused on the Kansas City Chiefs. I would be focused on the Buffalo Bills. I would be focused on, right? I would be focused on those top teams. But when you create a narrative around somebody based on inaccurate knowledge, that's where it starts to stick in my craw. That's where it starts to irritate me. That's where I'm starting to look at these national nerds and be like, all right, let's not do this. I don't expect you to be watching the Chicago Bears week in and week out. I'm sure you watch the full game highlights. I'm very sure. And you saw a bunch of runs and you're like, oh, these are designed runs. But you know what? Most of them aren't. Justin Fields' rushing touchdown wasn't a designed run. It was just him making a really, really nutty play. He did it. He created an NFL hezzy. I don't know if anybody saw that, right? But Justin coming up, jumps with both feet, does a little, a pump fake almost, but it's like a full up fake. Everybody jumps and stops, and then all of a sudden he takes off and he runs a 60-yard touchdown. Let's not try to pigeonhole Justin into being this right. And right, like Justin's not going to let it happen. I know at the end of the day, right, like this is a conversation, but you're seeing people, right, form full opinions, right, around Justin Fields. And I'm seeing this especially on the TikTok side, right? There's a lot of people on TikTok that just aren't watching the Bears. And they're fans just like we are. We're sitting here, we're watching the Bears, right? Honestly, and when you look at the numbers, it's Justin Fields is a rushing quarterback. Justin Fields he's running the ball more than he's passing. Why is he doing that? Would you prefer him to stand back there and get his head taken off? Would you prefer? And I swear, that's the thing for me. I swear more people would. I swear there's Bears fans out here that would rather see Justin Fields stand back there and get his head taken off because he's a pocket passer, because he's throwing the football. But let's do a little bit better. You know, I expect a little bit better out of the ESPNs. I expect a little bit better out of the FS1s. I expect a little bit better out of the big name networks. Get up in the morning with Greeny and like a panel of guys that are making so much money. It's ridiculous, right? There's a whole dude that was on that panel that is now an NFL head coach, which is still wild. But hey, shout out Jeff Saturday. He got me fired up. Y'all seen that press conference with Jeff Saturday? He definitely got me fired up. My favorite one, I'm not going to lie to you, man. Appreciate y'all for tuning in.